Welcome to another I Am Ampersand video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Monk class, represented by Chin Stormstout. Monk brings its flexible, agile movements along with its wisdom and grace to the board as they try to not only remove their opponent's minions, but also to destroy their opponent by attacking them in the face or with their chi orbs. And chi orbs are a unique mechanic to the Monk class. Chi orbs are minions that will start off as 1/1 minions, and they don't actually take up a board space. If you play another minion that would take up one of the spots that's being occupied by a chi orb, that chi orb will merge with the minion and grant its stats to that minion. This includes any additional effects or keywords given to the chi orb. Monks will also be using the channel keyword as their own evergreen keyword going forward. Every expansion, look forward to seeing more channel cards popping up in Monk. And in case you're not familiar with the channel keyword is an end of turn effect that does something provided you have a certain amount of unspent mana at the end of your turn, hence the X. So if it says channel 1, if you have 1 mana left over, regardless if it's 3 minions looking for that 1 mana, you'll gain all those effects. But now let's take a look at something new, that being the Monk's hero power. Or more accurately, should I say hero powers. Monk has 3 different hero powers that they can switch between in a given turn. They'll always start their turn out in one of the given stances, usually the one that they ended their previous turn in, but they can also hit the hero power to switch to a different stance. So if they started off in Brewmaster stance, gaining that 1 armor, they can hit their hero power and randomly be getting Mistweaver stance or Windwalker stance. Now, if they wanted the other stance that they didn't get, they can hit their hero power 1 more time in that turn and get the last hero power that they weren't having access to. So in any given turn, a monk can hit any of their 3 stances, but they won't be able to go Brewmaster stance into Mistweavers back to Brewmaster. So there is some ideas of how they may want to do that, because there are ways for different cards to activate your hero power without changing your stance. So you could all of a sudden have a card that says, hey, gain 6 armor, or restore 6 health to a random enemy, or random ally, or deal 6 damage to random enemies. But there's different things that Monk can do to make use of these hero powers, and it allows them to technically still have a 2 mana hero power, but if they wanted to be in the Mistweaver stance when they rolled their first time, then they don't need to roll a second time, and they got a slight discount. I'd like monks to think of their hero power as a 2 mana hero power that occasionally costs 1 less. But now I've teased you with the fact that there's 3 different stances, let me introduce you to one of the first cards. That first card that I'd like to show you is Fists of Fury. Fist of Fury is a 2 mana spell that reads, give your hero +2 attack this turn, shuffle a Fist of Fury into your deck, and draw a card. Now the first thing I want you to notice is that Fists of Fury is a draw spell that basically is a 1-for-1 copy of Chaos Strike, but it is getting shuffled back into the deck for monks. The Windwalker monk is going to be using a lot of attacks, but they're not going to have access to a ton of powerful weapons. They're going to be using their fists to do their talking, and they're going to do it a lot. So they're going to be looking to draw these cards and gain access to these additional hits. So first we've established that monks strike fast, but next let's see how they moon their own wounds with a card like Vivify. Vivify is a 2 mana nature spell that reads, restore a random damaged friendly minion to full health. Repeat for each friendly chi orb. So now you can recover after you've traded, allowing your minions to potentially protect you again the next round. But speaking of protection, let's take a look at the Brewmaster's style. The Jangi Brewer is a 3 mana 3/4 minion with Taunt and Death Rattle. Give your chi orbs Taunt and +1/+1. So if you have any chi orbs floating around when this guy goes down, he's going to make sure that you got a couple extra 2/2 minions at least floating around ready to protect. But I think some of the best ways to really get an idea of how a class is going to feel is to take a look at some of their legendaries. And up first, we're going to take a look at Fist of the Heavens. Fist of the Heavens is a 2-mana 1/3 legendary weapon. With Death Rattle, your hero has +1 attack during the game for the rest of the game. Shuffle this into your deck. This card here will allow you to essentially continuously build up your attack on your turn so that you'll be able to always have that +1 or +2 attack that you've gained from the consecutive Fist of the Heavens death rattles. But maybe you're saying to yourself, Amper, this is not the interesting monk gameplay that you were promising me. I want to know what else they can do. So let me show you Storm, Earth, and Fire. Their 7-mana legendary nature spell that reads transform your hero into Storm and summon Earth and Fire. When you transform into Storm, you'll gain the ability Earth and Fire attack the same target as you and have immune while attacking. And your hero power will become give your hero Divine Shield and +2 attack this turn for 1 mana. And then when we talk about summoning Earth and Fire, Earth is a 4-mana 4/4 elemental minion with Taunt and Divine Shield with Death Rattle. If Fire has died this game, transform your hero back. And Fire has Rush and Divine Shield, Death Rattle. If Earth has died this game, transform your hero back. So you'll gain 2 4-mana 4/4 minions with Divine Shield and Rush and Taunt, respectively, as well as the ability to attack the same target as you, and that could be your opponent's face because you'll have charge on your hero. So there are tons of different things that you could do with this hero power. Now keep in mind that once your opponent is able to clear both Earth and Fire, Storm will deactivate and you'll go back to being your regular base version. But now we've kind of touched how monks themselves work. Monks also work alongside many of the creatures of Azeroth, starting primarily with the dragon. And the dragons themselves work pretty closely with chi, each of them using chi in some way or generating you a chi orb. As Monk the class develops in future expansions, you'll see more development for dragons as well as the other class that they'll lean heavily into, elementals. And while the initial offering for elemental minions don't have them doing a whole lot of elemental synergies, they will see more development than that in the future. Just it's kind of tight to fit a lot of cards into a class, and I wanted to focus primarily on the spells that would be more specific to Monk itself. And Monk also makes use of friendly little beasts. They'll have some beast synergies as well in the future. Another important part of the Monk's tradition is their adherence to the August Celestials. Here you'll find Niao Zhao's attendant, Chi-Ji's attendant, Yu'lon's attendant, and Zuwan's attendant, each of them displaying how each of the Celestials interact with the Monk class and how you might see them played out in the future. As each of the August Celestials will play an important aspect into one of the different styles of each of the Monk subclasses. Up next, I wanted to showcase some of the different styles of cards you can see. Flexible makes it so that your hero power is essentially free for the next 5 uses. So you'll be able to get the hero power that you need real quick. Super useful in an early turn, or maybe when you want to do a combo turn later. Spinning Crane Kick is something that allows you to do board clear, and if any of the minions do happen to stick around, you don't have to worry about them attacking you directly. Or something like Tiger Palm, which just gives you +2 attack and generates you an additional chi orb that you might be able to use in some way. Each of these different spells are, I think, kind of basic and essential to the class. And fun fact, Tiger Palm was the first card I designed for the class. Another important part of the Monk tradition is their adherence to the Shangi Academy and learning the Monk style there. This is something that you'll mostly do as a Pandaren in the game in World of Warcraft, but I think that it is also an important start for a Monk. Another important aspect of the monk class is that they don't really fight with traditional weapons. They're not going to bring a sword or an axe to the battlefield. They're going to show up with a stick or some gloves, and they're going to do something about it with that. And they're going to impress you at the same time. So you'll see cards like Staff of Low Blow. Staff of Low Blows will make it so that whenever you're attacking a minion, you'll take less damage at the same time, and you'll produce their attack if they do happen to stick around after that attack. Fist of the Heavens, though, the legendary weapon that I'm going to introduce, is a weapon that every time it dies, shuffles itself back into your deck and gives you a permanent +1 attack during your turn for the rest of the game. And while we're on the topic of legendaries, let's go ahead and take a look at the Mistweaver legendary. That's going to be Asa Cloudsinger. Asa Cloudsinger is a 6-mana 5/5 legendary minion with Divine Shield and Taunt, as well as Battlecry. If you have restored 30 health this game, restore your hero to full health. So now we have a Reno style effect for the monk class, only if you've been restoring health this entire time. So maybe it's an incentive to split your deck halfway between Mistweaver and Windwalker class. Or maybe you want to dive into the Brewmaster style and also pick up this effect where for the rest of the game your hero gains +3 armor and +3 attack each turn. It's an 8-mana 8/8 legendary minion, Mojo Dark. So similar to how Alexander's Mograine gave you the ability to basically deal 3 damage every turn without any downside, at least this time you can choose to put 3 damage into a minion or send 3 damage into face. It's up to you, but Monk's all about choices. And the final legendary choice you'll get in the initial set for Monk is G Firepaw. G Firepaw is a 5-mana 6/4 legendary minion with Rush and Battlecry. Fill your hand with Fists of Fury. They cost 1. So while each of the legendaries are pretty powerful effects on their own, I feel like each of them require you to lean into kind of the discipline of the particular subclass. Asa wants you to spend a lot of time spending mana to restore your minions and yourself back to full health. Mojo Dark wants to bunker down and tough it out and basically shrug off all the damage. And G wants to load up with an empty handful of fists and basically tell your opponent, finish me now or I'm taking you on turn 10. And while Paladins recently in the last core set were given auras, Monks will also be making use of auras, primarily at first in the Mistweaver subclass. You'll see that they have cards that will restore health to your hero when any minion attacks, or whenever you end your turn, you'll have the opportunity to restore health to all your friendly characters depending on how much mana you leave open. Or maybe you want to make that small investment to make sure that your chi orbs stick around for your next turn and you give them all stealth. But the last and maybe the most controversial card I'm going to introduce in this set today is Zen Pilgrimage. Zen Pilgrimage is a cast when drawn spell that you can add directly to your deck in creation. And it reads, cast when drawn. Your character is immune until your next turn. That means that whenever you draw this card, you'll be able to attack freely. Your opponent won't be able to do anything to you. It won't matter what happens, but you won't be able to choose when it happens. And that, I feel, is a downside to it. Now, you could discover this card, and that makes it a pretty powerful choice for you to use when you want to potentially avoid your opponent's lethal turn. You can use this as a proactive ice block, or similar to how Mage used theirs, but you have to discover it, or you have to pull it from your deck in some way other than drawing it, because otherwise it's going to get wasted the turn you draw it. But with that, I've already taken up enough of your time. I hope you've enjoyed this video. My name is I Am Ampersand. I'm going to be back soon with a mini set for the Mysteries of Pandaria set, and I really hope to see you there. If you've made it this far, please hit that subscribe button. It does mean a lot to me, and it really does brighten up my day. Otherwise, if you didn't enjoy it, please leave me a comment down below what I can do to make it better for you next time. I'm making these videos as quickly as I can, but I also want to make the cards quality. I realize that they're never going to be made, but if you do it right, Do it right.